These are both click-type torque wrenches. They make a lot of different types of torque wrenches. Probably the least expensive and the oldest is what they call a bending beam type torque wrench. They make dial type torque wrenches, the click type like this, and of course the relatively new style, the digital torque wrenches, which are great, but kind of expensive. So the purpose of this video, though, is I want to concentrate just on the click type torque wrench, and I want to explain how to read them, how to use them, and how to store them. Every fastener in an automobile has a torque spec. Manufacturers have known for many, many years that the proper way to tighten a fastener in the field is by following the correct specification for the type of the fastener and the way the fastener is used. So that's why we use torque wrenches. One of the most common areas in automotive service work for using a torque wrench would be wheel installation. You figure a service interval for tire rotation on most cars today is somewhere between 6 and 7,500 miles approximately. So, think how many times, if you follow the service requirements, how many times those wheels are going to have to be removed and replaced in, let's say, 100,000 miles. For removing a wheel, you can use an impact wrench, an air tool, or an electric tool. For reinstalling, you never use an impact wrench. The manufacturers have a specific torque for the wheel lug, and you'll find that specification in the service manual. If you get into the bad habit of impacting wheel nuts back on, you run the risk of this happening. Here we basically have a broken lug stud, and then the wheel nut is frozen to the threads. That happened removing. The shop that actually did this did the right thing. They used an impact wrench to remove the wheel lugs. They found one was not coming off with the typical amount of torque that the impact wrench is set to. They told the customer about that problem, and they said, we can remove it, but there's a good chance we're going to break it. And they did. They broke it. The right way actually to remove a frozen lug nut would not to be just crank up the impact wrench, which typically impact wrenches today can put out so much torque, they'll snap the lug just like that. The right way to do it would be to use a long breaker bar and then slowly work it off. But honestly, more than likely, you're going to end up doing this. You'll end up breaking it. The reason typically that happens, when you impact, you end up using a lot of times more torque than you should. And what this can end up doing is not only does it stretch the lug, but if you apply enough impact and enough torque to that lug nut, you basically gall the two together, the nut and the stud. And basically, the galling is very much like cold welding. You're basically welding the two pieces together, and if that happens, typically to take it apart, you're going to end up breaking it like this. So even though there are technicians that use impact wrenches and they say they can modulate the trigger, they can reduce the pressure, all that kind of stuff, the only way you know exactly how much you're torquing it to is to use a torque wrench. They make what they call torque sticks that some people will use for impact wrenches. They come in different diameters that allow you to tighten to different torques using the impact. Personally, I don't think they're accurate enough. You should never use an impact tool to install wheels. You use a torque wrench. That's the right way to do it. Both of these are half-inch drive click type torque wrenches. This one made by a company called S&K. I've had it for many, many years. And this one is actually Harbor Freight Icon, their Icon brand of torque wrench. This one I've only had for about a year, a lot newer. The basic difference between these two, this one, as you can see, is shorter, but it also has a range from 10 foot-pounds at the low end to 150 at the high end. And this one actually starts at 50 foot-pounds, and it goes up to 250. So that's something to consider if you're going to buy a click type torque wrench, what range are you going to need it to function at? Also, another thing is this one, you might notice here, they have an arrow that says torque. This one, the S&K, and a lot of the lower end torque wrenches only allow you to torque clockwise, right? And so, in most of the torquing that we do is clockwise, but occasionally you run into a left-hand thread, and where you're going to have to go counterclockwise to tighten. In that case, this one can't do it. This one will go both ways. This one can tighten clockwise or counterclockwise. The accuracy is slightly different. This, they say, is 4% clockwise accuracy, but if you go counterclockwise, it's 6%. But still, it will allow you to go clockwise or counterclockwise. So when setting the click type torque wrench, and there are a few different ways depending on the manufacturer of the tool, we've got two scales. We have this vertical scale here, and we have this rotational scale on what they call the micrometer part of the torque wrench. So we've got our torque numbers. We're going to go from, it looks like 50 to 250 on this side, and we go from 60 to 240 on this side. So right now this tool is set at 50 foot-pounds, which is the lowest this will go. And the part that's a little tricky, so we start here at the 50, the line comes over, then it comes down at an angle, and it's meeting the center line here right above the 0. So this is now set at 50 foot-pounds. As we crank up the dial, and on this torque wrench there's a collar that I can pull back with my fingers, and I start rotating in 1 pound increments. So this will be 51 pounds, 52, 53, 54, and etc. One full revolution is 10 foot-pounds. So I'm going to come all the way back to the 0, like this. And so now we're at 60 foot-pounds. So we've got the 60, the line coming down, and it meets the 0 in the center. So that's now 60 foot-pounds. Right now I have this set at a fairly common torque for wheel lugs. We've got this set at 95 foot-pounds. We've got the 90 showing here. The line comes over and down, and we're engaging the 5 line right there. So that would be 95 foot-pounds. That's a fairly common approximate torque for wheels, but it's all over the board. Some smaller cars I've seen as low as around 75, 80 pounds. Light trucks up around 140. It can go more than that. So the thing you have to do is don't assume. You go to the service manual and then you look it up and see what the manufacturer specification is. My older SK torque wrench is a little different. Notice the lines come straight across. They don't come down at an angle. That angle thing is very common. Most of the click type torque wrenches I see use the type that Harbor Freight Icon wrench use. So this is a little less common from what I've seen, but nonetheless, some might be this way. So if I wanted to adjust this to 10 foot-pounds, I crank this up right there, so the 0 lines up with the 10 line. The disadvantage of this, you notice it's covering up the 10. Half of the 10 is covered up. That's the disadvantage. I think that might be one of the reasons why most torque wrenches use that angled line, because when you have it set to that torque, you can see the number fully, where here you're covering half of it up. And so then let's see, if we wanted 15, we continue rotating the handle, and there's basically our 15, which is halfway between the 10 and you can see the 20. If we want 20, another half turn, and now we're at 0. And one other thing I didn't mention, once you adjust the torque, there's a locking method. On this wrench, at the bottom of the handle, there's basically a little knob that you would turn that would lock it in place so it doesn't move when you use the torque wrench. And on the other, the icon wrench, that collar that I would pull back, when you release it, it's spring loaded, and then that locks it in place. The torque spec for this wheel is 85 foot-pounds. I already have them snugged up, and I'm going to go in for my final tightening at 85. And what I mean by final tightening, it's actually a good idea to tighten a wheel in 2 or 3 steps. Meaning if you have the wheel off and you put it back on, say with an 85 foot-pound spec, maybe you would start, you go around and tighten them all to 35 foot-pounds, then you would do readjust the wrench and do them to 60, and then do a final adjustment at 85. So we'll do our final tightening at 85 foot-pounds. I'll use a 6-point wrench socket rather than a 12. And then the way you would use the click type wrench, it's a smooth movement. So we're tightening it, and as soon as it clicks, that's it. There's our 85 foot-pounds. Where some people get into the bad habit of they get in a hurry using the torque wrench, and they end up having it click, but they're still tightening it. They're still going clockwise with it. Just because you have the wrench set at 85 foot-pounds doesn't mean it's going to stop at 85. You stop at 85, not the tool. So the click tells you that you've hit 85. As soon as you get to it, you release. That's it. A few final things I'd like to mention is that first off, you never want to use a torque wrench for loosening a fastener. You only use them for tightening fasteners. That's one. Second thing, they say in the instructions for this icon wrench, before you use it, you should exercise the tool. And this is actually a common thing you'll find in instructions for click type torque wrenches, meaning they basically say you should run the torque up to the maximum setting and then back to the minimum 3 times. And I think that basically is exercising the spring and the internal workings of the torque wrench for the maximum accuracy. And the final thing is, when you store the wrench, you should always store it at below the minimum setting, which is where I have it now. Most click type torque wrenches will tell you to do that. I've seen a few from different companies that say you don't have to. You don't have to back it down all the time. But the most common I've seen is they recommend that you back down the torque. Well, I hope you found this useful. If you do, please subscribe. And thanks for watching.